Good morning, friends. In today's lectures, in the last lecture, we had discussed about the JPanel, right, which is work as a one container. We can add the number of controls, right, like a text box, buttons, and complete form design in a one panel, and we can add that panel to the frame, or we can easily it is visible or invisible to user when we required. Second, we take the scroll bar. In the many times we require the scroll bar when we have the long forms or text box or long panel. In that case, we use the scroll bar to scroll the content to up to down or from left to right. Right. So in that we just take the scroll bar, right? Set which are the important unique increment. Whenever we click on the end, right? How much increment? So it is a one, right? Minimum and maximum value, so whatever we like to display, right? It is that means total scroll bar is divided in the 100 portion, right? These are important factors. And when we click on this one, so which event is occurred? So it is a adjustment event, right? This event is a adjustment event, and for that purpose we need to implement the adjustment listener. And adjustment listener have a method of adjustment value change, right? So whenever we click or we scroll this scroll bar, this function is called if we bound this adjustment listener with our scroll bar. Third one is a slider, right? So slider is similar kind of the object scroll bar, but is for the particular values when we require as a input parameters. So it is a much better option instead of the text field. Right, the user has the limitation only just pass the integer value between predefined, right, which is very difficult to handle in a text field. Over here, what we said, minor tick spacing, that means this line between two lines, it is a two. Major tick points, we require the label at major line, right? Paint ticks, we need to draw these ticks or not. Paint label, we require this label or not. And when we change the value, scroll this scroll bar or slide these sliders, right? The which listener is handling this one? It is a change listener. So when we change the value of sliders, right, the change listener will call the state change functions and change event is occurred, and according to that value we can take the decisions. Then after we discuss about the menu bars, right? So normally in many applications or desktop applications we require the menu bars. So we the main menu bars, right, created using the object of JMenuBar, like this one, right? And inside JMenuBar we create the different menus, right? File menu, edit menu, help menu. So it is the object of the JMenu, and in each menu we create the number of items, so it is a JMenu items. So depends on requirement we create the objects and then add in the JMenu items is added in the JMenu, and JMenu added in the JMenu bar, and JMenu bar is added in the frame, like this one, set the JMenu bar. This is important. Then we writing for the event handling. So when we click on these items, right, we are for it is a action event, and for that purpose we implement the action listener, and action listener call the action performed method. So we check the source which event is occurred, cut, copy, paste, and according to that we can perform our logic. In the text box, right, we use a text field for the multi-line. In our example we use a text area, right, for the multi-line instead of the text field. Text field support the only single line. So we perform, it is already available the cut, paste, copy and select function in the text area objects. Okay, now new one is the progress bar. So in many applications we learn about the progress bar, right, like this one. So depend on our progress, right, of the working. So whenever we have the some long time processing, then user will be wait. Then how we can informing to the user, okay, how much they need to wait more. So it is a progress bar is for that purpose. So whenever we have doing the some progress, right, related with the, suppose we are saving the some data or calculating your some input related outputs. So in that case, we use the progress bar. So what we are doing, we use the create the object of the JProgressBar, right? This is what 0 and 2000. So it is a minimum and maximum value, right? That means our process is divided in the 2000 parts. This is the size of the progress bar. Set value, the initial value we start from the 0. Set string printed. If we require this value printed inside the progress bar, yes or no. If we do not require, just to show the scroll bar, then it is a false. Otherwise, set is a true. Otherwise, frame. Okay, over here we write the one function, iterate function, right? Take the value of I outside functions, right? Now JB dot set the value. JB is our progress bar. So we set the value initially it is a 0. It is starting from 0. Then we increment the 20, right? So after that it is what 0, 20, 40, 60, 100, 120, right? But we put the one slip, right? 150 is a millisecond. 150 is a millisecond. So after 150 milliseconds, it is what updated means it is again calling while loop is rotated. After waiting 150 millisecond, again it is rotate, right? Up to 2000s. Over here we create the main. Okay, we go for the demonstration how we can use a JProgressBar, right? We can just, it is also possible we put the some buttons and start stop and we can handle it, right? And we need over here means create the new class for the progress bar. Click on the package. Over here we use a default package, so the file is also independently executed if we did not have a NetBeans. Progress bar demo or demo progress bar. Okay. Right. We need to derive from the JFrame or applet. Right? We do not require the menu bar, so it is possible to use the applet. For the desktop application, is JFrame is the more preferable. Right? Which method? Public yes void init, right? First method when we create the applet, applet is started. Start and stop method when applet is active and inactive, and destroy when applet is destroyed. Okay, now our target is to J process progress bar. It's very simple. Progress bar pb equal to new J progress bar. It is possible to pass the value over here, or we can pass the value later on, take the from the user. It is also possible, right? Set minimum and maximum. Suppose start from the 0 or 1. pb dot set maximum. Suppose start from up to 100. Right? pb dot we require to display the string printable. Yes. String printed is we required, right? Okay, we add this progress bar to our applets. This dot add pb. We can set the default flowlet or flow layout. This dot add dot set flow layout. Layout new flow layout. So we do not worry about the x and y. Check it. What happening? We are doing the step-by-step program, so we can easily find the error where we doing the mistake or not. After that, we declare the one iterate method, which is increment our value. Right now it is what not, we do not perform the any action. Currently we just display the progress bar, right? Okay, now suppose we sorry what I'm suppose I am taking one more button, right? And base when I click on that button, right, I start the process, or when I stop the process is stopped, like that. It is good. So for the button what we need to implement the action listener. Implements action listener. We are doing something different to our example. Now we require the action performed, public void action performed, and argument is action event, right? We need to derive. Okay, now first we need to create a button. J button b equal to new J button, right? Suppose start and stop. Initially it is a value is a start. Okay, now when we click on the button we need to bind the listener, add action listener in the current class. Okay, this no problem, right? And we add this button to the, right? We can change the size, right? Otherwise it is work with the default size. Okay, now first we check when we click on the start, right? It is our progress is started and the label of the start button is becomes a stop. It's very interesting. So first we need to get the source, right? It is what we know that this function is called when call the button, right? Or we can directly also check it if we require. We can just instead of, because we know that only this button is called, so we can change the scope of the button so it is easily accessible. And we directly check if, right, b dot get text, right, dot equals, right now it is either start or stop, we know that. So if it is a start, then first we need to set text, right, or stop, and then doing the process for the iterative, right? What is our target? To iterate the progress bar. And otherwise, right, else, what else? If it is not start, then it is a stop. Then what? We need to stop. Okay, right? And initially we are doing iterative. Later on first we check it. Oh sorry, we are not change the label, right? If it is start, then we change to the stop. If it is not start, that means stop, then we are going to change start. Start, stop. Okay, fine. Now we put the iterative methods. So we need to first, suppose while loop I write for the infinite time initially, to change later on. So our target is what? To set the value. Now what is the current value? We don't know. So how we can check it? So for that purpose we require the access of progress bar. So we increase the scope of progress bar objects. Okay, now progress bar is accessible over here. We take the value. What is the current value? eb dot get value. It's written the current value of progress bar. Okay, now suppose we need to increment the value by 1. Okay, the 1, right? Now we need to set this in new value to the our progress bar. So set value. Okay, and now we need to wait for the some seconds. Thread dot sleep, right? 1000 millisecond means 1 second, and it is an exception throwing, so we can surround or we can use the throws method. We can either define the try catch method, or otherwise we use the throws. But it is a override method, so it is not possible. Sorry. It is a override method, so we cannot change the template definition of that. So we need to implement the try catch over here. Right? It is try catch exception. We just put it blank right now. Okay. Now what is the problem over here? E is already we define it, so over here we write the ex. Fine. Now we can write, if we like, dot get message. If we like to print something, then we can write e, not e, sorry, ex for the exceptions. Okay. But now this loop is what rotated for the infinite time, right? When we click on the stop, right, how we can break this loop? We need to break this loop, or we need, this is when we are waiting, it is not executed, and for that purpose we take the one flag. Or otherwise, suppose we are not putting this loop, right, we take this some more interest, so it is executed for the only one times, right? That means we need to click every time to increment the progress bar value, which is not good. Like this one, right? It start stop start stop start stop. When we click on the start, it is increment, so it is not a good idea. So we are taking the loops, but until which value? So until we do not click on the stop, right? And for that purpose we take the one more variable, boolean, right, flag. It is a false, means do not iterate the value. So we check the value. If flag is equal to true, right, then we go inside the loop, otherwise not. Correction is not required. By default it is compared with the true value. Okay. And when we click on, when it is a stop and we click on the stop, so we change the label stop to start, and we also change the label flag from true to false. So again it's become a false, so that means if the loop is going outside. And when we go inside this loop, right, this one, so when we are clicking on this one, right, so first we need to set the value from true to false. Clear? When we click on the start, we set the flag true and the loop is continue, otherwise it is not possible. Loop is going inside, so we need to coming back from the events, right? How it is possible? So we can define in another method using the threading. It is also possible using the thread, but right now we just take the simple method public void. We are doing this thing, why? Because we need to just free our main thread which is calling this function, right, from the regular work. So we are control X, like this one, right? We are doing this one, and every time flag is true, so we go inside, right, till it is possible to execute. Okay, first we try, then we take the help of the threads for doing this thing. So, but it is not taking break. I'm not relaxed. It's not so happening. we are doing some mistake. It is not going inside, I think so. Yes, first we need to call. After setting true, we call the iterate method. This is a part of the current class, so we directly call it using this object. Sorry, typing mistake. Still typing mistake. Iterate. Okay. It's not doing job. Start is still not going to stop. Means is not release the thread. So we make it more first. Testing example. Thread is going in the infinite mode. Okay, so how we can drain? We creating the thread and then again start, right? So instead of iterate method, we change it to the run method, and for that what we need, either we derive from the thread, right, or we implement the runnable interface. Okay, so runnable interface is nothing but its public void run method. Fine. Now we create the thread equal to new thread, and we give the object of the class where we have this method, right? But and we also increase the scope. Okay, now over here when we click, so instead of that we just write t dot start, so it is started, right? this one until the flag is true, and thread dot skip, so it is working on that thread. That thread is only for the current thread, not for the remaining, right? And then false again. When we are coming to, again we can call the start method. Check it. Still it is not updated. Why? Null pointer exceptions. Something we are doing mistake. Okay, we are declaring outside, but we are not removing over here. We need to reduce the time so we can easily take the effect, right? Okay, so we need to click on start, right? Okay, it's working. Now we make it stop. Now it's stop it. Again we click on the start, but yes, then again the thread is not going over there. So that means when we set this on flag, okay, so we need to again recall that threads, and it is not working. Start t dot starts. When we are going to t dot start, right, we need to flag true. Okay, true is there. T dot start. So fine, it's not any issue. Stop. Okay, then flag is ends. Thread is destroyed. Your thread is destroyed, right? Okay, not thread is destroyed because it is going outside the run method. So no issue. We create the thread again every time, right? Okay, display 100. Why? So it's working like that. Okay, mistake 0. Make it. This is the last time. Now call it again. Start. Yes. Stop. Stop it. Again click on start. Again stops. Right? Okay, now it's working. You can try now yourself and you can change it anywhere. Right? So fundamental is what? Right? The progress bar is used for the number of applications and we can manage it as well. Depend on the set value, we can just it is a progress, otherwise it is not progress. That is in our control. Next one is a file chooser. File chooser for the file opening, file saving, right? Many times we use it. So in this example, what is it? We create the file menu, click on the open file. When we click on the open file, user select the some file, and depend on selection of the file, the data is displayed in the text box. Right? So as per our last examples, last lecture's example, we create the one menu bars, right? And then what is our main target is what? When we click on the open buttons over here, when we click on the open button, we create the object of JFileChooser, right? And it is what? fc.showOpen dialog. So now depend on this statement. If this statement is executed, the pop-up is there. We need to select the file and then click on the OK, right? And if we click on the OK, right, then we check it. If we click on the OK or cancel, right? If it is OK, then it is approved, right? Either open or save file. If it is approved, then we take this file chooser object dot selected file and we get the file object. For that purpose, we doing the further process. Over here, we just take the file path, get path, right? We create the object of file reader and buffer reader. It is a part of the file IO program. We also consider this one over here. So using the file reader object, we pass to the buffer reader, and buffer reader is capable now to scan the multiple line, right, or multiple character at a time. Instead of that, we can also use a scanner, not issue. Right, for the reading purpose after the 1.5 version. So we can take the example of how we can. So we can take the help of the last our example, menu bar. In that, what we are doing, we create this one menu bar, right? We add this menu bar to our frame, right? It is derived from the frame. In that, we create the two main menu, file menu and edit menu, right? And we add in the main menu bar. Now in the edit menu, we add the cut, copy, paste, right? This one, menu items. And for the each item, we also handle the action listener. So what need to perform the event. Similarly, we can over here write for the file menu. What we need to add in the right now, we require the one J menu item, right? We need to open option. So open equal to new J menu item, right? Name is open. Okay. Now open dot add action listener. What we need, do the action, and we define the anonymous listener, new action listener, right? Okay. So this function is called when we click on the open menu item. What is our target over here? First we need to choose first we check it. Menu item is there or not? Yes. It depends on selection. First or next. No, it's not there. Why? Because we are creating menu item, but still we are not add this menu item to the file menu. So file menu dot add open, right? So now this open is becoming part of the file menu. Okay, now we need to click. So when we click on this one, we need to open the file. So right now we are here. So file chooser equal to new JFileChooser, and fc dot show dialog, right? Or we can also say the open dialog. Right now our target is to open the file, so open dialog, right? Component parents is this, and what is the output? The output is a integer. Either we click on the open or cancel, open or not. So integer I. Okay, not important. If I equal to, we need to check the file chooser constant, file chooser dot not JF. Okay, so we use the JF file, and I just JFileChooser dot, right, approve or cancel. So we need to just perform the operation when we click on the approve. Okay, now approve, that means we need to retrieve the file. So file chooser dot get file. Why it's not get select get file? Okay, then use the scanner or file reader. It is very easy. We are very familiar with the scanner, so we are practice with the file reader. And it's not working. Java.io. Yes. Buffer reader, file reader. So we doing the different steps. File reader, fr equal to new file reader. Okay, and we give our file object to the file reader. Fine. Now it's open it file. Now we take the buffer reader. Exception is there. So try catch exception. Now buffer reader, br equal to new buffer reader, right? We give the reader object fr. Okay, fine. Now our target is to take the read the string from there. Suppose it is a temp. Now br dot read line. That means we read the one by one line from the users. So it is a string line, and we add this line in our temp line. We also add the new line character at the end. Fine, but we don't know how many line is coming over there, so we just doing for the number of times file, right? I just shift this line to here, and we increase the scope of this one. First we need to read this line and then compare it. Right, we put it the bracket over here. We need to first read the line. Okay, then we compare. It is a not equal to null, right? Then we are going for the next, otherwise not possible. Okay. Okay, I cannot get wrong with over here. Clear? If it is not null, okay, then take in temp and go for the next. And at the end, right after completion, what we set this value in the word text dot set text. Our text area is there, right? So we temp it and then we close the buffer reader, right? It is good in the finalize method, but we are simply doing here fr dot close. Fine. Now our target is to open the file. If any text file is there, then it is good looks. Because formatting is not there. Okay, we select the something else. We drive. Then from where? Think so. There is a text file is there or not? Yes, in the E drive I have the one file initial configurations is there. Right, installation file txt file. So the file is there, right? Clear? You can or delete these things and create any open the any another file. Okay, so we break this lecture for the 2 minutes and then coming back for the next one.